Sheikh, we are ready.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, his entire household and companions, and all of those who strive hard to follow the path of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions until the day of resurrection. Ameen. Distinguished brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I greet you all with the most noble greeting in Islam, the greeting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has recommended for believers, and which is a form of supplication that may the peace and blessings of Allah be bestowed upon us all. Ameen. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, our class is on Talkhis, siffatus, salatin, Nabiyy. The book, siffatus, salatin, Nabiyy, was written by Abu Abdurrahman Muhammad bin Nasiruddin al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala, who is a muhaddith of our century and one of the most revered scholars of ilm al-hadith. However, given the bulk of the Abu Allah Ta'ala, and so by Allah's permission, we shall start from the very beginning. However, I wish to make a short introduction on Salat so that our brothers and sisters who are listening will get to know more about what Salat is, and of course, the reason why we have to study about the prophetic manner of observing Salah. The Arabic word Salah literally means ad-du'a. The ulama will say as-salatu lugatan ad-du'a. The literal meaning of the word Salah is du'a. And this is expressed in the Quran, in Quran chapter 9, verse 103, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ صَلَاتَكَ سَكَنٌ لَهُمْ. Take from their wealth a charity with which you will purify them and cause them increase in their wealth. وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ, and invoke the blessings of Allah on their behalf. إِنَّ صَلَاتَكَ سَكَنٌ لَهُمْ. Verily, your invocations are a source of tranquility for them. So the word salatu in this verse implies not the salat that we all know of zatu ruku wa sujud wa qira'ah, but supplications, invocations, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The ulama of Islam said, if one were to observe one wakes up in the morning and listening, it would have been technical sense. So it does not suffice that one makes zikr or one makes dua and assume that he has made salah in the technical sense of it. Again, from the Quranic connotation, the word salah also implies al-ibadah. Al-ibadah is an act of worship, the extent of which is known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. In Quran chapter 24, verse 44, Allah says, Alam taro anna Allah yusabbihu lahu man fis samawati wal ard wa tayru safatin kullun qad alima salatahu wa tasbihahu. The word salat appeared in this verse. Al-Imam At-Tabari, Al-Imam Ibn Kathir, among other mufassirin of the Quran, have mentioned in their tafsir works that the word salat here implies ibadah. What Allah is saying is that each of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the heavens and on earth observes an act of worship that only Allah knows. Take, for example, the Quran mentions waqayru, the bird. Is it conceivable that the birds observe the kind of salat that we human beings observe, reciting from the Quran, going for ruku', going for sujud and the like? It is absolutely inconceivable. In fact, it would be logical to assume so. So the implication of the word salatu here is ibadah. Kullun qad alima salatahu. Each of these creatures knows exactly how it worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has created this. In Quran chapter 17, verse 110, the word salat was used by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to imply qira'ah, as the ulama of tafsir have mentioned in their works. Allah says, اللَّهَ أو ادعوا الرحمن أيما تدعوا فله الأسماء الحسنى فلا تجهر بصلاتك ولا تخافت بها وابتغ بين ذلك سبيلا. Quran 17 verse 110. The word salat here, according to the Mufassirun, implies qiraha. When you recite the Quran, do not make it so loud and do not make it so low. Recite it, make it a middle course, moderately. Recite it moderately. And the fourth implication of salat, as mentioned in the Quran, for the sake of our time, there are up to about 7 of them. But for the sake of our time, let's just pick 4. The fourth implication is that the word salat is used in the Quran to connote religion, ad-din. And the evidence for this is Quran chapter 11, verse 87. Allah says, "Ala lisanil mushrikin fi zaman nabiyina Shu'aib, qalu ya Shu'aibu, as-salatuka ta'muruka an natruka ma ya'budu aba'una aw naf'ala fi amwalina ma nasha." As-salatuka, is it your religion? Is it the religion that you have brought to us that commands you to instruct us to abandon that which our forefathers used to worship? So we see that different according to the Quran, the context in which Allah used the word. However, our concern in this lecture is about the second answer given us the meaning of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam through its ahadith, as explained to us what Allah intends with his statement, establish the salah. This 11 verse 87. It is not the dua as in Quran chapter 9 verse 103. It is an act of worship that is specific and must be observed as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded. What is the importance of salah? Why is it that Allah emphasizes on aqimus salah in the Quran, observe salah, establish salah, so many times in the Quran? When we go to the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we will understand why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasized on establishing the salat in the Quran. Let's take a few of the hadith. Umar bin al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, in a hadith that is reported by Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim, but let's go to the collection by Imam Nawawi to narrow it down. Imam Nawawi, in his 40 hadith, the prominent 40 hadith by Nawawi, recorded this hadith as the second hadith in the book. It is the hadith of Umar bin al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, in which he says, "Bainana nahnu julusun inda Rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam." On one occasion, we were sitting with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when a man approached us. We all know the hadith. Now, part of the questions demand that we now know to be the alayhi salam asked the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is akhbirni an al-Islam. Tell me about Allah. Islam means bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship but Allah, and that I, Muhammad, I am Rasulullah. That is one, the fourth pillar of Islam. And then he said, and also to qimu salah, that you establish the salah. So it means that part of what makes us to be Muslims is establishment of salah. Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma also reported, and the hadith is muttafaqun alayh, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Bunya al-Islamu ala khamsin." The religion of Islam is built, is established on 5 pillars, 5 foundations, and one of those foundations is iqamatu salah, establishment of the salah. Buraida radiallahu ta'ala anhu reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-ahadu alladhi baynana wa baynahum as-salah, faman tarakaha Muslims." From the disbelievers is salah. He who abandons the salah has disbelieved. So it shows that salah is the bridge between al-iman and kufr. It is the bridge between belief and disbelief. Whoever crosses this bridge crosses from one end to the other. So if a Muslim crosses the bridge of salah, that is, he abandons this bridge, he does not observe salah, he crosses immediately to kufr. Wal-'iyadhu billah. So again, Abu Hurairah ta'ala anhu reported, and this hadith is collected by Al-Imam Tirmidhi. Sheikh Al-Albani said the hadith is sahih. Also, Imam Abu Dawud and Imam Al-Nasai reported the hadith in their books. That the Prophet said, "Inna awwala ma yuhasabu bihi al-'abdu yawm al-qiyamah min 'amalihi salatuhu." The first thing that every servant of Allah shall be called to account on the day of judgment is salah. So the first act of worship that everybody shall be called to give account on is salah. The Prophet said, "فَإِنْ صَلَحَتْ فَقَدْ أَفْلَحَ وَأَنْجَى." If his salah is okay, his salah is complete, then such a person. But if his salah has issues, then such a person has lost and is in trouble. So this implies that we must take good care of our salah. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "Hafidhu ala salawati wa salati al-wusta." Protect your salah. Protect your salah. Yani, preserve your salah. Ensure that you observe your salah as it is required of you. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Then the final thing in our introduction is, why do we need to pray our salat in the manner that Prophet has prayed it? Number one is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to obey the Prophet sallallahu ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul. Wa ma ataakum Rasulu fakhuduhu. Man yuti'i Rasula faqad ata'a Allah. Among other commandments. So Allah says we must obey the message of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu in a hadith by Abu Qilaba, reporting from Malik ibn al-Huwairi, said, "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli." Pray as you have seen me pray. So we must learn to pray in a manner that Prophet has prayed. And Abu Hurairah reported, and this hadith also reported by other than Abu Hurairah, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day was sitting in the mosque. فَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ, a man came and entered the masjid. فَصَلَّى, and he observed the salah. وَرَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ فِي نَاحِيَةِ الْمَسْجِدِ. What Prophet was sitting in the corner of the masjid. So after the man finished praying, he came and said, "Ya Rasulullah, may the peace of Allah be upon you." The Prophet said, "وَعَلَيْكَ السَّلَامُ إِرْجِعْ فَصَلِّ فَإِنَّكَ لَمْ تُصَلِّ." Go back and pray, for you have not prayed. So this repeated itself 3 times. On teach me, or in the word by Abu Dawud, I swear by Allah that has sent you with the truth. And this, the man that ordered in salat is none other than Khalad bin Rafi', the brother of one of the prominent Sahaba of Prophet. So Khalad bin Rafi' was the man that had in his salat. He was the man that made a mistake in his salat. So he prayed in a manner that Prophet had to correct him that your salat is bad. Now the question is, if a Sahabi who witnessed the Prophet pray could make a mistake in a salat, then how about us? Are we not even in a better position to learn about the Prophet's prayer? So this is why we thank our brothers who have put together this program and who have chosen this book as our resource material to learn more about the Prophet's manner of prayer, so that we don't end up on the day of judgment having prayed in a manner different from what person has prayed. So now we go straight into the book. Bismillah ta'ala. The first thing Sheikh Al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala mentioned, when we go to page 6 of the book with me, I don't know which page that would be, is Istiqbalul Qibla. Istiqbalul Qibla. I hope you have seen that. Istiqbalul Qibla means facing the Qibla. The ulama of fiqh have mentioned that Istiqbalul Qibla is one of the conditions for the validity of Salat. It is sharatun min shurut sihhat salat. Whoever prays without facing the Qibla has no Salat. This is clear. Qawlan wahida. Qawlan wahida. Because facing the Qibla is one of the arkan, one of the pillars of Salat. وَالرُّكُنُ مَا لَا يُوجَدُ الشَّيْءُ إِلَّا بِهِ أَوْ مَا لَا يَقُومُ الشَّيْءُ إِلَّا بِهِ. Rukunu means a pillar, and pillar technically means something without which another cannot be established. So, if Istiqbal al-Qibla, facing the Qibla, is one of the pillars of Salah, then we must know properly how we are required to face the Qibla. Sheikh Al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala said, إِذَا كُمْتَ أَيُّ الْمُسْلِمُ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ. Whenever you stand to pray, O Muslim, whenever you stand to pray, O Muslim, فَاسْتَقْبِلِ الْقِبْلَةَ, face the Qibla. حَيْثُ كُنْتَ, wherever you are. The Qibla is none but the Kaaba. The Kaaba. Al-Imam Ibn Abdul Barr, rahimahullah ta'ala, in his At-Tamhid mentioned that أَجْمَعَ الْعُلَمَاء, all the scholars of Islam have a unanimous decision, a unanimous view. أن القبلة التي أمر الله نبيه وعباده بالتوجه نحوها في صلاتهم هي الكعبة البيت الحرام. All the scholars of Islam are agreed that the Qibla, which Allah has commanded the believers, the Prophet ﷺ, and all the Muslims to face in their salat, is the Kaaba. The Kaaba, the Baytul al-Haram, the Makkah, which is in Makkah. So every Muslim must face the Qibla, that is, he must face the Kaaba in his salat, whether the salat is obligatory or the salat is a voluntary salat. وَمَنْ شَاهَدَهَا وَعَايَدَهَا, whoever is in Makkah and could see the Qibla, could see the Qibla, must face the Kaaba directly. As for anyone who is in he is to face the direct, are also united. أَنَّ مَنْ تَرَكَ اسْتِقْبَالَهَا, that whoever does not face the Qibla, وَهُوَ مُعَايِنٌ لَهَا, and he could sight the Qibla, أَوْ عَالِمٌ بِجِهَتِهَا, or he knows the direction of the Qibla, فَلَا صَلَاةَ لَهُ وَعَلَيْهِ إِعَادَةُ كُلِّ مَا صَلَّى كَذَلِكَ, has no salat, and he must repeat everything that he has prayed without facing the Qibla. So Sheikh Al-Albani said, فَاسْتَقْبِلُ الْقِبْلَةَ حَيْثُ كُنْتَ. You Muslim, whenever you stand to pray, face the Qibla wherever you are. And this is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمِنْ حَيْثُ خَرَجْتَ فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ وَحَيْثُ مَا كُنْتُمْ فَوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ شَطْرًا. So you must face the Qibla. Quran chapter 2 verse 110. Wherever you are, you must face the Qibla. فِي الْفَرْضِ وَالنَّفْلِ. Sheikh Al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala said, whether the salat you're observing is the obligatory salat, like the 5 daily prayers, like the Jumu'ah prayer, or the naflu, salat that are required, that are regarded as voluntary prayers, whether they are the voluntary prayers of the evening or the voluntary prayers of the morning or those during the day. One must face the Qibla in his salat for the salat to be valid. وَهُوَ رُكْنٌ مِنْ أَرْكَانِ الصَّلَاةِ. وَهُوَ رُكْنٌ مِنْ أَرْكَانِ الصَّلَاةِ. Facing the Qibla is one of the pillars of Salah, without which one Salat is invalid. التي لا تصح الصلاة إلا بها. No Salat will be valid except that the one praying it faces the Qibla. Point number 2. ويسقط الاستقبال عن المحارب في صلاة الخوف والقتال الشديد. Facing the Qibla shall be dropped for the one who is fighting, a warrior who is in a battlefield, and he is to observe Salatul Khawf, Salat of fear. The fear prayer is the prayer that a Muslim observes while he is in the battlefield. And the battle we're talking about is the legitimate battle, not terrorism. Not terrorism. The legitimate battle that Allah has sanctioned that should be fought against the enemies of the Muslims. So when the believers are in the battlefield, and it is the time for Salat, and this goes to establish the importance of Salat, that a Muslim must pray in all circumstances. If Salat would be dropped for anyone, if anyone would be excused for praying, the Muslims in the battlefield would have enjoyed this provision. But despite that they are in the battlefield, Allah did not excuse them from the obligation of Salah. Allah says, even when you are fighting, you must pray. So when a Muslim is in the battlefield, and a muharib, a warrior in the battlefield, and is observing Salatul Khawf, time may not permit us to explain Salatul Khawf, but I believe that inshallah many of us will read about Salatul Khawf and the manner in which it should be observed. So if a Muslim is at the battlefield, he is excused from facing the Qibla if it is not possible for him to face the Qibla. Because those fighting may even be praying while they are walking and facing the enemy. And they will not observe you. But in their mind, they will then doing the ruku and sujood, and Allah will accept their salah. While qital is shadid, and the one in the middle of a serious battle. It could happen that terrorists are attacking a place where there are Muslims, and maybe they are coming from the Jihatul Qibla, from where the Qibla is. And if someone were to face the Qibla while praying, it is possible that the bullet may hit him. In such situations, he may pray without facing the Qibla, whether the Salat is compulsory or it is voluntary. Facing the Qibla is also excused for the one that is unable to face the Qibla, kalmarid, like the one that is sick. If someone is sick and is incapacitated to the extent that he cannot even move his body, someone that can only lie on his back, he is to pray in that manner. If he can perform ablution to pray, he should perform ablution to pray. Someone should bring water for him. If he cannot perform ablution to pray, he should perform tayammum and pray. Someone should get him a dry surface or sand to place his hand on. If it is not possible for him to even make tayammum, he cannot even move his limbs, and to touch him to make ablution or tayammum for him is impossible. Therefore, the person should pray like that in that state, and Allah will accept his salah. Allah will accept his salah. The ulama said, even though satul awra, covering one's nakedness, is one of the conditions for the acceptance of salah. If someone were to be without any clothes, and he fears that the time of salah will lapse or elapse if he were to wait until he gets clothes, he should pray like that, even though he is naked. The ulama also said, if someone were to be in a situation where there was no water, and there was no even sand, let us assume the worst of scenarios, that there was no sand anywhere to perform ablution, there was no dust anywhere, there was no surface to perform ablution. This may sound funny, but let's perform ablution. The ulama said he should pray like that. He should pray like that even without any form of purification, and Allah will accept his salah. Wallahu ta'ala. So, Kalimari, if the sick person is unable to face the Qibla because of the severity of his illness, or the one that is riding in a canoe or a ship, for example, or somebody that is in a car, or somebody that is in a plane. إِذَا خَشِيَ خُرُوجَ الْوَقْتِ, if he fears that the time for salah will elapse, if he were to wait until he arrives his destination to pray, then such a person can pray even without facing the Qibla. He will face wherever the car or ship or canoe or plane faces. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray like this, even though all the salawat that he prayed in this manner were the nawafil. So, but in our time now, the situation may warrant that one observes salat in that manner. One is in a plane, and the journey is a long one that will take hours before one gets to his destination. And there is water in the plane to perform ablution, but the plane might not be facing the Qibla. The ulama said he should face wherever the plane faces, wherever he faces, and observe the salat like that, even without facing the Qibla. However, if he were observing the fardhu salat, the obligatory salat, what is best for him is to try and locate the Qibla and face the Qibla while making the takbiratul ihram, the first takbirah of salat, and then face wherever he faces and observe salat like that. But for takbiratul ihram, he should try to face the Qibla to make the takbiratul ihram in amkana, if that is easy for him. And getting to the Qibla now is even easier than it was in those days. With our compass, with our Qibla compass, the Qibla app on our phones, we can easily detect where the Qibla is. Then we face the Qibla, even if it is to our left or to our right or to our back, make the takbiratul ihram, and then turn to where our seat faces and continue our salat. And in praying like this, we do not have to make the normal ruku and the normal sujood, but we will make our ruku low, and then our sujood lower than our ruku. And the Sheikh will explain it, inshallah. But if it is known that one will arrive his destination, or it is assumed, if it is assumed that one will arrive his destination before the time of salat lapses, then it is better to delay the salat until when one gets to his destination, so that he can face the Qibla properly. So the clause here is either khasiya khuruj al-waqt, if he fears that the time for salat would have ended before he arrives his destination. So the mafhum mukhalafa is, if he does not fear that the time of salat would have ended, he should wait until he arrives his destination. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. وَأَمَّنْ كَانَ يُصَلِّ نَافِلَةً أَوْ وِتْرًا, facing the Qibla is also lifted in the case of someone that is observing nafila or the salatul witr, the witr prayer. وَهُوَ يَسِيرُ رَاكِبًا, while he was riding on a moving animal, maybe a car or dabbatan, it may be an animal, camel, donkey, horse, or the like, or rakiban, maybe cars and the like, whatever he was riding, or غيرها, or any other thing that he is riding. Somebody may say, oh, what about somebody in a parachute? Somebody dropping in the parachute. So he is not regarded as riding, because parachute is only for safe landing. It is not regarded as something that one is riding or driving. Allah Ta'ala alam. So وَيُسْتَحَبُّ لَهُ, but what is more preferred for the person that is observing salah while riding on an animal, or maybe riding a car, or riding a bicycle, driving a car, or in the plane. If it is possible, either amkana, if it is possible and easy for him, and يَسْتَقْبِلَ بِهَا الْقِبْلَةَ عِنْدَ تَكْبِيرَةِ الْإِحْرَامِ, that when he makes the takbiratul ihram, as I explained earlier, he should face the Qibla. ثُمَّ يَتَّجِهُ بِهَا حَيْثُ كَانَتْ وِجْهَتُهُ. Then after the takbiratul ihram, wherever he faces on his animal or plane or car, he should continue his salat in that manner, and Allah will accept it. So this is how facing the Qibla can be done. It is compulsory. If one knows the Qibla, he must face the Qibla if it is possible. If he does not know the Qibla, if he doesn't know the Qibla, it is not compulsory on him. He should face wherever he faces and observes salah. Quran chapter 2 verse 115, Allah says, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. So this is allowed. Wherever he faces, it is allowed for him. But if he knows where the Qibla is, he should face the Qibla. Wallahu ta'ala alam. وَيَجِبُ عَلَى كُلِّ مَنْ كَانَ مُشَاهِدًا لِلْقِبْلَةِ. It is equally compulsory on everyone that can see the Qibla, that can sight the Qibla, because he's living close to Qibla, he's in Mecca. Yani, man kana mushahidan lil Kaaba, whoever can see the Kaaba, it is compulsory for that person, and yastaqbila aynaha, he must face the Kaaba directly. He must face the Kaaba directly. Wa amma man kana ghayra mushahidin laha, but whoever is in a far away place and cannot see the Kaaba, some of us are living 4,000 kilometers plus away from the Kaaba. So according to the map. So if you are living thousands of kilometers away from the Kaaba and you cannot sight the Kaaba, then it is not compulsory that you face exactly the spot of the Kaaba, but فَيَسْتَقْبِلُ جِهَتَهَا, you must face yani nahwa al-Kaaba, the direction of the Kaaba. So we are not to face exactly the point of the Kaaba, but the direction. So the Kaaba is towards this direction, we face that direction. We don't have to look for the exact point of the Kaaba. So like for us in the learning here, the Kaaba is 65 degrees between the north and the west, about 65 degrees. So we should take our compass and know exactly where our Kaaba is, so that whenever we want to pray, we face the Kaaba. Sometimes some of the masajid may not face the direction of the Kaaba. There are so many masajid here that do not face the direction of the Kaaba. So we should not judge by the direction of the masjid, but we should ensure that we get the exact location, the exact direction of the Kaaba using our compasses, so that we don't end up praying to other than the Kaaba. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Hukmu salati ila ghayri al-Ka'bati khata'an. What is the ruling of praying to other than the direction of the Kaaba mistakenly? If someone were to observe Salah and he was not facing the Kaaba, what is the ruling of his Salah? If he had prayed out of mistake, not knowingly, وَإِن صَلَّى إِلَى غَيْرِ الْقِبْلَةِ, if anyone prays facing other than the Kaaba, mean because there was cloud, for instance, it was a cloudy day, and so he could not visualize the direction of the Qibla, or guiding, or for some other reasons. Let's say, for example, someone that travels to a town where there is no Muslim to ask where the Qibla is, no mosque to locate the direction of the Qibla. In such a situation, and he has no compass with him, there is no way to determine the location of the Qibla. So maybe he uses the hadith of Ma bayn al-mashriq wal-maghrib Qibla, whatever is between the sunrise and the sunset is Qibla. Which Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahimahullah ta'ala said this is for the people of Mecca. So, but he would take it as a general meaning. He interprets this hadith to have a general meaning. So between the mashriq and the maghrib is Qibla. So maybe he places the mashriq to his right, the maghrib to his left, and then he faces anywhere. But it was realized later that he was not facing the Qibla. This was done out of mistake. What is the meaning of his salah? So if someone prays to other than the Qibla, for one directing to the Qibla, ba'da al-ijtihad, after he has tried to locate the Qibla. This statement implies that a Muslim does not worship Allah the way he sees it. A Muslim seeks knowledge before he worships Allah. This is the first condition that Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab mentioned in his book, Salatin usul. Al-ilm. Al-ilm. The basic knowledge. Al-ma'lum bid-din. Al-ma'lum min ad-din bid-darura. Certain knowledge are required as a matter of obligation that every Muslim must know. So such include the knowledge of Aqidah and the knowledge of Ibadat, how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a Muslim must do ijtihad. The ijtihad here is that he tries locating the Qibla, tries using the compass, tries asking people around where is the Qibla, and yet he could not locate the Qibla. What a hurry. He tried to locate the Qibla, he could not locate the Qibla. Jazat salatuhu. If he prays facing anywhere, his salat is valid. His salat is okay. His salat is acceptable. Wala i'adata alayhi. And he is not required to repeat such salat. وَإِذَا جَاءَهُ مَنْ يَثِقُ بِهِ. But if while praying, someone that he trusts approaches him, وَهُوَ يُصَلِّي, while he was praying facing other than the Qibla, out of error, someone that he trusts approaches him, فَأَخْبَرَهُ بِجِهَتِهَا, and that person informs him that he was praying to other than the Qibla, but the Qibla is somewhere else. So if that person points towards the Qibla to him, فَعَلَيْهِ أَنْ يُبَادِرَ إِلَى اسْتِقْبَالِهَا, he should immediately turn towards the Qibla. وَصَلَاتُهُ صَحِيحًا, and everything he prays before that time and after that time is accepted, is valid. What does this imply? It is mentioned that while, because the Muslims before the directive to face the Kaaba came, were facing the Baitul Maqdis. They are facing the Baitul Maqdis. Prophet was facing the Baitul Maqdis in the Salah. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. So before that verse was revealed, they were facing Kaaba, were praying at a place when a man passed by. That man and the believers from Baitul Maqdis to the Kaaba. But these two Sahaba that were praying were not informed. So that man section of the Qibla has been changed. The Messenger of Allah has received a wahyu to the Kaaba. And immediately these two Sahaba turned their faces and faced the Kaaba, and they continued their salat. And there is no record that they were commanded to repeat their salat. So this is the evidence that whenever you are praying and someone approaches you, now Sheikh Al-Albani said, "Man yasiku," someone you trust. The question is, how do you get to trust anyone? This is because the madhab of the Ahlul Hadith is that only the hadith of the thiqah, the trustworthy, the reliable, is accepted. This is why Al-Bayquni, in his book Al-Manzumatul Bayquniyya, while discussing the conditions for the for the acceptance of a hadith, the conditions that make a hadith sahih, said, "Awwaluha as-sahihu wa huwa mattasal isnaduhu wa lam yushadda aw yu'ad يرويه عدل ضابط عن مثله معتمد في ضبط ونقله." So adl, he must be credible, he must be trustworthy. That is the fiqh. He must be trustworthy. But in this case, how do you determine who is fiqh? One, that person is a Muslim. If the person that informs you is a Muslim, then you have to change the direction of the Kaaba and face where he directs you to face. Number two, that person is an aqil. Is an aqil. An aqil means he is not insane. Number three, he may not necessarily be a baligh, he may be a mumayyiz. Somebody, a child that has attained the age of discernment. It may not necessarily be a baligh, but he can differentiate between right and wrong. So we accept the verdict of that person. And then number 4, that the person visibly looks okay, not a drunkard. Because a drunkard would also point at you and say, hey, you face there. We will not take such instruction. Then it is also possible that even a non-Muslim may know the direction of the Qibla and tell you to face the Qibla. Somebody with a non-Muslim guy, when they pray, have to follow that and pray to that direction. Wallahu ta'ala alam. But it is expected that we take akhbar of only the believers, because it is the believers that will have fiqh, trustworthiness in. As for non-believers, la ya'lunakum khabala. They do not care about us. They do not care whether we are okay or we are not. Wallahu ta'ala alam. So once we know that this informant is someone we can trust, because he visibly looks okay, whether he looks Muslim or he looks Aqil or the like, then we must take the instruction from him and face the Qibla. And so the salah that we have prayed before facing the Qibla is also acceptable by the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't have to restart the salah all over again. Allah ta'ala. The second point Sheikh Albani discussed in the book is al-qiyam. Al-qiyam means standing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands the believers in the Quran to always stand in worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The act of worship that requires standing, like salah. He said, Hafizu ala salawati wa salati al-wusta wa qumu lillahi qanitin. Stand for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The ulama said, qanitin has 3 interpretations. Qanitin means in total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why we realize that our standing in salat is one that must have khushu'ah. We'll demonstrate that inshallah. So qanitin means stand in total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we stand in salah, we face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we are not distracted by anything. It is said that the Sahaba of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever they stand in salah, they are so much stable and so concentrated that even if the bird were to, the bird will assume that part of their understanding of Akumulillah quantity. The second meaning of quantity, according to the ulama, is sakitin, silence. Whenever you stand in salat, observe silence. We do not make any other statement other than the statement we have been commanded to make. The Messenger of Allah said to his Sahabi that was talking on salah, he said, Inna hadhi is salah. This salah that we observe, La yasluhu fi'a shay'un min kalam al-bashar aw min kalam an-nas. It is not allowed to make any other statement that is known of the people in salah. Innama hiya takbir wa tahmid wa qira'atul Quran. Salat is about glorifying the name of Allah, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and appreciating Him, and reciting the Quran. So when we stand in salah, we must stand starting, we must be quiet. And the final meaning of qanitin is khashi'in. When we stand in salah, we must observe khushu'an. Khushu'an. It must be absolute. So we must fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our standing in salah. So al-qiyam is one of the arkan of salah, one of the pillars of salah. لِلْقَادِرِ عَلَيْهِ, for whoever is able to stand. Whoever is able to stand. Sheikh Al-Bani ta'ala said, وَيَجِبُ عَلَيْهِ, it is compulsory on every Muslim that is praying, and يُصَلِّيَ قَائِمًا, he must pray while standing. وَهُوَ رُكُنٌ, and standing while praying is one of the pillars of salah. Illa ala, except for the following categories of people. There are certain categories of people that are excused from standing in prayer. They can pray sitting, some can pray reclining, some can pray lying down, and some can pray, in any other manner that is easy for them. The first category of those that are excused from standing in salah is al-musalli salat al-khawfi wal-qital al-shadid. Someone that is observing the fear prayer. Someone that is praying when the battle is fierce, when the war is hot. Such a person can pray in a manner that is easy for him. Let's take, for example, our soldiers that are fighting against the insurgents, and they are fighting in their trenches. They are fighting in their trenches. They cannot leave the trenches to go and observe Salat elsewhere. And in the trenches, they are almost kneeling or lying down, depending on the depth of the trench. Almost kneeling or lying down while holding their rifles. In this manner, if they want to pray, and they fear that the enemy might approach them anytime, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whenever you are fighting the enemies and you want to pray, do not abandon your firearms. وَدَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْ تَغْفَلُونَ عَنْ أَسْلِحَتِكُمْ وَأَمْتِعَتِكُمْ فَيَمِيلُونَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِلَّةً وَاحِدًا. So do not leave your firearms. خُذُوا حِذْرَكُمْ. خُذُوا حِذْرَكُمْ. You must be at alert. So while holding the AK-47 or the RPG or whatever firearm they are fighting with, and they are kneeling down in their trenches, and they want to observe Salah, they don't need to stand up to observe Salah so that the enemy sniper will not target them and kill them. So while in their trenches, they can observe Salah in the manner that is easy for them, while doing ruku and sujood, lowering their heads respectively. فَيَجُوزُ لَهُ. It is permitted for a warrior in such a battle, and يُصَلِّيَ رَاكِبًا. If he were riding an animal, he should observe Salah while riding an animal. Maybe he's riding a horse or a donkey or a bull. Or maybe he's even riding some of these trucks that our military men use in fighting against the terrorists. Or an armored tank. He is also a rocket in the contemporary context. So he should observe Salat while riding in that manner, making his sujood lower than his ruku'. Also, al-marid, the sick person is excused from praying while standing. Al-ajizu anil qiyam, if he is sick and unable to pray standing. It is not every sickness that makes one unable to pray standing. But fatakullah mastata'tum, fear Allah to the best of your ability. There is no definition of sickness that makes you liable to pray standing. It depends on how you feel it. Just like there is no definition of a sickness that makes you liable to break your fast. It is any form of sickness that makes fasting uncomfortable for you. It could be an headache. It could be a toothache. It could be a weak flow. Any form of sickness that makes you unable to pray standing, then you are allowed to pray sitting. Fear Allah to the best of your ability. So, al-maridul ajiz an al-qiyam, the sick person who is unable to pray standing, is allowed to pray sitting. For yusalli jalisan in istaqa'a. He can pray sitting if he is able to pray sitting. Wa illa, if praying sitting is also difficult for him. Some people are so sick that they can only lie on their side. Fa'ala jam, he should pray lying on his side. And if somebody is lying on his side, maybe reclining on his elbow, for instance, if it is possible for him to face the Qibla in that state, he should face the Qibla. This is better for him, even while reclining on his elbow. And he should recline on his right elbow and face the Qibla. This is better for him. Some people are so sick that they can only lie on their back. If that is the best position that one can be, then he should pray while lying on his back and facing the sama. But if it is possible that his head can be lifted and a pillow, for instance, can be placed in the area between his back and his head, so that he may sit a bit like this, facing the Qibla, that is better for him. the Muslim must try as much as they can to face the Qibla unless it becomes impossible. So even if one is on the hospital mattress, I think it has a pool that can be used to lift the bed a bit so that it faces the Qibla. This is better for you than not facing the Qibla. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Wal mutanafilu, also it is permitted to pray sitting for the person that is observing the voluntary salat. Any of the voluntary salat, one can pray sitting. Falahu an yusalliya yani raqiban. If one is observing salat and the salat is a voluntary one, he can observe the salat while riding an animal or in a car, sitting in a car or airplane or in a ship and the like. Or qaida, he can also observe the nafila salat while sitting inside if he likes. In fact, for the person observing nafila, praying while standing is not compulsory. It is not compulsory to pray while standing for the person observing nafila. Nafila can be observed while sitting down. It is allowed. Generally speaking, it's allowed, even without an excuse. So one may even pray the Tarawih prayer while sitting down. But the ulama said the one that prays standing, when he's able to, has more reward than the one that prays sitting when he's able to pray standing. So if somebody were to pray the Nawafil sitting down while he is able to stand, he will not get as much reward as the person that prays standing while he's able to stand. Wallahu ta'ala alam. This is the fatwa of the ulama. وَيَرْكَعُ وَيَسْجُدُ إِيمَاءً بِرَأْسِهِ. The one that prays while sitting because he is sick, or while reclining because he is sick, or while laying on his back because he is sick, and the one that prays Nawafil while sitting down will make the sujood and the ruku. We will make a gesture with his head for the ruku and the sujood. How? Now, somebody is praying nafila while sitting down. And don't forget, even while sitting down, you are still required to pray with your right hand on your left. We will discuss the how later. So after reciting Fatiha and Surah, he wishes to go for ruku. He says, Allahu Akbar. He lowers his head like this. This is the ruku. Sami Allahu liman hamida. He returns his body back to the original position. Allahu Akbar. Then he takes the head in a lower position than that of the ruku. This is how he is expected to pray. If he is not able to even move his head like this and like this because of pain, excruciating pain, he should make the gesture in a manner that is easier for him. With that, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. And it says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. And it says, لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. وَكَذَلِكَ الْمَرِيضُ. This one for the sick person. If you want to pray while lying down, lying on his side, or sitting, he should make his sujood lower than his ruku'. وَيَجْعَلُ سُجُودَهُ أَخْفَضَ مِنْ رُكُوعِهِ. He should make his sujood lower than his ruku'. He does not necessarily have to place his head on the floor if it is not easy for him. If someone is sick and is praying sitting down, if he cannot place his head on the ground for sujood, he may not do that. He should just make the ruku' lower than the sujood. And Allah knows. Inna Allah alimun bi dhati sudur. So Allah has a better knowledge of his situation. وَلَا يَجُوزُ لِلْمُصَلِّي. It is not permitted for the praying person, jalisan, who is praying while sitting down, and يَضَعَ شَيْئًا عَلَى الْأَرْضِ, that he should place something high on the floor. يعني مرفوعا, something high. He should not place something high on the floor. يَسْجُدُ عَلَيْهِ, on which he performs his sujood. Say, for example, somebody praying and then he places a bottle because he wants his ex touch something for ruku. Then he places a bottle on the ground and he does like this as sujood. This is not allowed. or he places a stone high enough to place his head on it for sujood, this is not allowed. If he is not able to place his head on the floor, he should not. He should only make his sujood lower than his ruku'. وإنما يجعل سجوده يعني شيئا على الأرض مرفوعا يسجد عليه. He should not place anything high on the floor that he makes sujood on. وإنما يجعل سجوده أخفض من ركوعه. Rather, he is only required because الدين يسر حديث صحيح الدين يسر ولا يشاد أحد هذا الدين إلا غلبه. The religion is easy. Nobody makes this religion difficult for himself except that he becomes incapable of catching up with it. So the Prophet ﷺ said, do what you are able to do of the obligatory duties of the religion. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَمَلُّ حَتَّى تَمَلُّ. Allah will never get tired. It is you that will get tired. So do what you can do as easy as Islam has brought it. So what is expected to do? وَإِنَّمَا يَجْعَلُ سُجُودَهُ أَخْفَضَ مِنْ رُكُوعِهِ كَمَا ذَكَرْنَا. As we have mentioned earlier, he is only required to make his sujood a bit lower than his ruku'. إذا كان لا يستطيع أن يباشر الأرض بجبهته. If he is not able, as a result of the sickness, to place his forehead on the floor, if he is not able to do that, then he is only required to make his sujood lower than his ruku'.
MashaAllah.
Okay. Now.
Sheikh.
Okay. So I think inshallah we should stop here for today.
Yeah.
So that tomorrow, bismillah ta'ala, will take on as-salatu fi safinati wa ta'ira, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stay our lives beyond tomorrow. May He grant us maximum understanding and reward for this little act of ibadah. May He reward abundantly those who are behind this very beautiful initiative. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heal our world of COVID-19 and all other ailments and diseases. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So we'll take the questions and answers now.
Amin ya Rab. So shall we go to the question? The first question here is, what should someone do in a journey from Abuja to Kaduna or Kaduna to Abuja using maybe the last train, which is 6 p.m. Can he pray Maghrib and Isha while sitting in his seat, considering that there is no provision for a comfortable prayer area in the train? And if he should wait until he reaches his destination, it will be Isha prayer time.
Now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Prophet was asked about Ayyul A'mal Afdal, which of the deeds is better and more rewarding. And he said, as-salatu li waqtiha, praying at its appropriate time. And this is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, inna salata kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. So a Muslim must strive at all times to pray at the appropriate time. The traveler from Abuja to Kaduna, for example, who might not arrive his destination until the time of Salatul Isha, is required to pray Salatul Maghrib while in the train at the time of Salatul Maghrib and should not wait to combine it with Salatul Isha when he finally arrives his destination. So the best thing for him to do is to perform ablution in the train, or if it is tayammum, that is easy for him if there is no water for ablution. And he should observe the salat in the train in the manner that we have explained, and in which we shall continue tomorrow, inshallah, under as-salat al-ta'ira, and he should pray the salat al-maghrib in the train. And because he is a traveler, if we go by the view of the ulama that said, as-safaru mutlaqan, that whenever a person embarks on a journey, so any type of journey, he should do qasr salah, and he can do jamu salah. Then we also add that such a person should pray 3 rakats of maghrib and 2 rakats of isha. But the view that I favor more wallahu ta'ala alam, is the view of Sheikh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah, which is also led by Sheikh bin Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala, and Sheikh Sanusi Lafiagi, rahimahullah ta'ala, that the journey that warrants one to shorten the prayer is one that is from 80 kilometers and above. Wallahu ta'ala alam. No.
Now, the next question, Sheikh, is Assalamu alaikum, may Allah increase you in knowledge. How can one know when the time of Salah elapses on a journey or at home?
Okay. We live in a world of technology, so I think it is a bit easier now with some of the apps that we have now with us. There are Salat apps that are very accurate if one sets it properly. For example, I use the ISNA calculation for my salawat. So if we use any of the calculations that is closer to our environment, then I can say that one should rely on some of the time in the apps. So some of them are very, very reliable. But if one is not able to, then you can use the traditional method, whereby when you wake up in the morning, you check for the appearance of the Fajr of Sadiq, the true Fajr, which spreads across the sky, you know, horizontal, and it spreads across the earth, the sky. Then for Salatul Duha, after the sun has risen, before the sun reaches its meridian, we have the Salatul Duha. So you can also check for when the sun rises completely and it has fully risen, then you observe the Salatul Duha. For Salatul Zuhr, it is when the sun has shifted from the middle of the sky, from the meridian, and then your shadow is somewhat to your side, to right side precisely. Then the Salatul Asr is when your shadow is exactly the size of your eyes or of any object. Salatul Maghrib is when the sun has set. Salatul Isha is when the twilight appears. So we can go either with the traditional method or more preferably and easily with the app that we have with us. So when the time of the salat begins, for example, when the sun sets, you have the salat al-maghrib, and then it extends until when the twilight appears, once salat al-isha comes in. So it is better that we pray at the beginning of the time of the salat and not wait until when another prayer has come in, because some of the ulama have views, like Sheikh Sanusi said, that the time of salat does not elapse until another salat comes in. Is of that view. Allah Ta'ala.
And the last question is talking about what if a person perform ablution and during prayer you're not sure if you lost the ablution or not. Can you continue with the prayer? You have to stop your prayer immediately.
Okay. The answer to that is that there is a qaida, a legal maxim in usul fiqh that says that al-yaqin la yazulu bi-shak. Al-yaqinu la yazulu bi-shak. So what is established, what is clear, does not get taken away by doubt. So what is established is that one has observed ablution and that one has not parted the air. So if there's any shade of doubt in his heart that maybe he has parted the air or not, he should do away with the doubt and continue his salat based on what is established. The Prophet ﷺ said, whenever any of you is observing salat and a thought comes to his mind that maybe he has parted the air or not, he should not listen to that thought. He should continue observing his salat hatta yasma'a sawtan aw yajida riha. So until he feels the emission of a sound from his anus, or maybe the emission of air from his anus. So one should not leave the salat because he merely thinks or assumes that his ablution is vitiated. Al-yaqinu la yazulu bi-shak. So the yaqin is that he has performed ablution and his ablution is
No, mashallah, sir.
the shak. No.
No, mashallah, Shaykhana. So I think we'll end here, inshallah. By tomorrow, we will continue, inshallah.
Inshallah. جزاكم الله خير.
جزاكم الله خير شيخنا.
وإياكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. All right, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I think the network or his network was a bit bad today, but alhamdulillah, we're able to hear him. So maybe by tomorrow, we're going to put up the slides and then we have the audio so it to be much more clearer. And then we have the discussion, inshallah. Barakallahu fina wa fikum. See you tomorrow, same time, inshallah. Until then, the coalition of the Muslim organizations who are doing charity just posted their Instagram page on the comment section. So you can go through their Instagram page as well and also donate for their own costs, inshallah. May Allah make it easy and may Allah bless you all. This is DYK Academy. Assalamu alaikum.